الله أكبر الله أكبر حي على الصلاة الله أكبر.
Islam.
Islam.
Arise, giving all praise due to Allah, the causeless cause and the rootless root from which all things are grown. The causeless cause and the rootless root from which all things have grown. How can a cause be causeless? And how can a root be rootless? Allah is incomprehensible.
That's wrong.
Beware of those who attempt to sum up Allah. That's a red flag. I give the highest honor to his love thought made manifest, our holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. I give honor to his forerunner, Marcus Mosiah Garden. I give honor to the two flags combined. The Moorish flag, the Moroccan flag, the American flag. Brother Sharif, I'm all over the place right now. I'm so happy to be back home, Moore. As Moore said, I've been sojourning as a missionary. One thing about Ali's, man, one of our hashtags, we have a few, unity at all costs. That's a hard world to travel, Moore. Everybody don't want unity.
That's right.
So if you do want unity, they prop you up as their enemy, as their adversary. We catch it from all sides. A little history. I met Brother Heru. Moore was Auburn Fest, I think it was the first time. First time was the first touch point. Saw the Moors out with the flag. Let me show you with this flag. I've never seen those before. Instant connection. Fast forward, I was the head of a group of Moorish American Muslim artists called the Maroon Society. And he headed a group called the Nahesi Clan of Moors. We came together we had a full ceremony where we first shared with each other's customs. Can we even unify? Can we come together based on our customs? And if I was to describe Brother Heru's customs, when I read it, I was like, wow. Right of center. The Maroon Societies, left of center. But the commonality were those principles of Islam, right? And our love for the Holy Prophet, Noble Drew Ali. We came together in the ceremony and we signed a treaty of peace and friendship among our groups. And as Allah would have it, once Brother Heru went to Mecca and was set aside as Temple 19 by Grand Sheikh, he came back and he asked me to serve as his chairman.
Praise Allah.
And Temple 19 absorbed the Maroon Society, as it were. You know, one brother said among us, and he would say, y'all remind, this was pre-internet, y'all remind me of a group in Senegal called Bay Fall. They are also some dreaded Muslims who are painters and poets and singers. And it was an applicable description because I represent the path of moderation. Let me speak, let's go to the book. The holy chapter, the divine instructions from the Holy Prophet. The divine instructions from the Holy Prophet, chapter 31, justice. Keep the desires of thy heart, therefore, within the bounds of moderation. Let the hand of justice lead them aright. There are many paths within this pamphlet.
Yes, sir.
There's a multitude of paths. We had an exercise once in the board on Ali's men. Identify the paths that's in the Circle 7 Holy Quran, the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
That's right.
And we're still counting.
That's right.
I hear Moors like, man, that's just a little pamphlet. I can read that in 30 minutes. But did you follow every footstep
That's right.
that was mentioned in that book? When he said that Jesus was reading the Vedas, you go to the Vedas, there's volumes and volumes of Vedas.
Islam.
You haven't.
That's right.
The Avestas.
Islam.
The ideas, Moors, is to study this book. He said, establish unto thyself principles of action. That means you have a path that's fine-tuned and tailored
Yes, sir.
to your particular individual needs.
Bear with me.
And we give each other such grief in projecting our path onto the next person.
Wow.
And the prophet said, have enough courage where you can step into other fellows' shoes.
That's right.
If you can't do that, you can't understand where they're coming from.
That's right.
And you make these baseless judgments on people. And that's not our way. Islam?
Islam.
So Ali's man set a criterion of what the prophet taught. So we put it out there. You gotta, if you saying anything that's attributed to the prophet, you have to be able to back it up by the Holy Quran of the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Yes, sir.
Quran Questions for Moorish Americans. The Divine Constitution and Bylaws of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Islam?
Islam.
Moorish literature, which is a compilation of articles from the Moorish Guide newspaper that was contemporary during the Prophet's time.
Yes, sir.
The Prophet did not write all of the articles in the Moorish Guide.
That's right.
But what's reflected in the Moorish Guide is the spirit of the Moorish Science Temple of America under the Prophet's
Yes, sir.
leadership, as well as some of the worldview that Brother Sharif alluded to is in there as well. And that's one thing that Brother Heru and myself and another brother, we went in and we purchased the Schomburg collection of the Moorish Science Temple of America. And when we began to pour through those articles, we're like, we're not hearing this
That's right.
in discourse among Moors.
Wow.
We're not feeling this spirit. It was not antagonistic to the larger Asiatic community.
Right.
Right.
It did not talk down on them
That's right.
because they identified as Negro, Black, and Colored.
That's right.
The prophet brought clarity to that, but he didn't use it as an excuse to hate.
Right.
We often use that as an excuse to hate our people or to big ourselves up by pushing them down.
Right.
That's not the intent, right?
That's
it was
right.
that we learn to love instead of hate. They can't coexist. You're either doing one or the other. Islam?
Islam.
So in the early days of the discourse, we've had our board on Facebook, the Ali's Men group, for about 10 years now at least.
Absolutely. Yes, sir.
So there was a lot of filtering out of reality from myth, truth from falsehood, and Moors came and go during the course of these conversations, and we were always bringing. Where you got that from, Moor?
That's right.
Substantiated through the prophet's literature.
Yes, sir.
It sounds good. I know we've been saying it for decades.
Yes, sir.
But where did you get that?
That's all with it, bro.
And it's all right that teachers came later and brought their measure, their portion of the understanding. There's nothing wrong with that.
Right.
But we have to know who said what and who we're drawing from and attribute it to the proper person and not pass it off as the prophets. Also, what we're finding as more and more facts about the prophet's life come to light, that we have to appropriate this information
Yes, sir.
in light of real history.
Yes, sir.
Because what we end up doing is making the prophet a lie. If you're going to say that you're going to interpret the prophet's words that contradict history that anyone can look up and know that more according to this is happening according to history. So
Right.
your prophet's not telling the truth.
Right.
No, that's you not telling the truth in his name.
Yes, sir.
So we have to really look at you have to look at, okay, this is the truth of the matter. You know, we got sources, documentation, etc. So what could he have meant by that in light of this historical truth?
Yes, sir.
And then so much has been revealed to us using that methodology.
That's right.
And it's hard. More has come for us. Hard. You know? More has come for us.
That's right.
But we stand firm because the prophet's prophethood bears witness of itself.
Yes, sir.
Because of the impact that he's had on the planet. The Moorish Science Temple of America and the prophet's passing, all the different streams and branches that went out. Hebrew streams, Islamic streams, street organization streams, Christian streams.
Yes.
All these streams compositively have made such an impact on the world. And the root of it is Prophet Noble Drew. So it's not even a mystical thing. It's real.
That's right.
It's real. So that being said, I'm so happy to be home.
Yes,
with my
sir.
family, except
Oh.
for 19. I carry y'all with me everywhere I go. You know, sojourning solo on the highways and byways, doing this work with my brethren. You know, it's an honor, but it's not easy. But that being said, the way has already been demonstrated. Our task is to follow the way.
That's right.
Follow the prophet's methodology. It's time tested. It's not even something that's. I live in New York where there's. Let me give you just an indication. In one school, you may have 130 languages in one school.
That's right.
So I see the principle of nationality being played out every day. And you're going to see the Puerto Rican flag and the American flag. You're going to see the Dominican flag and the American flag. You're going to see the Russian flag and the American flag. All day, every day. But one mistake I see that Moors are making is we are somehow distancing ourselves from Morocco.
Right.
Our Quran question says what? Why are we Moorish Americans?
Because we're descendants of Moroccans and born in America.
What is our title given to our ruler in Morocco?
Sultan.
Now, that was present tense when the prophet and the Moorish Americans at that time was saying that. Now we have silent footage of the Sultan of Morocco in 1926 setting aside a mosque in Paris. They're flying this flag. The exact flag. The retinue that leads his limo, the soldiers on the horses, that flag is draped on the horses.
Right.
So Moors be trying to wiggle out of this connection to Morocco.
Right.
What's different between us than many nationalities within America is we were disconnected from our connections to the quote-unquote old world.
That's right.
Right? The Irish reached back over to Ireland and have Irish products shipped in
Yes,
to
sir.
trade and commerce
Yes, sir.
here in America. The Sudanese do the same thing. Right? We didn't have that. Through this connection, this reconnecting of Morocco, the prophet was establishing us to have that same type of old world connection.
Correct. That's right.
And we must revisit and pick back up the work of our great sheik, Jerry Lewis Bay. They're more established that connection. And the ball was dropped. We have to pick that back up more. Not only physically, by physically going, but also mentally as well. Right? And I know the fact that most of the modern Moroccans are light-skinned. that plays with our psyche again, right? And tomorrow I'm gonna deal with decentering whiteness.
Yes, sir.
Because the prophet decentered whiteness.
Yes, he did.
For us,
Yes,
right?
he did.
So that being said, it is a challenge to just narrow down all the different streams that's going through my mind at the moment.
All right, Mom.
You know, but I'm happy to be here. It's always a pleasure to be amongst Moors and to see my brethren on post, standing firm and strong. There's one thing about Temple 19. When the Circle 7 says, with regard to truth, he said, enter her ports manfully.
That's right.
Right? And there's a lot of talk about toxic masculinity. Right? Which is fine, because that's differentiating from masculinity. That's a particular type of masculinity, right? But masculinity within itself is not toxic
That's a fact.
or evil or bad.
That's right.
So we've always stressed that man and Allah is one. And man is man and woman as well. Right?
That's right.
Man, man. Right? Islam was.
Say it, brother.
I'm going back home.
All right. I'm going to take a reading. Chapter 9. Jesus attends a feast in Bihar, and here he taught human equality. The pure in heart do not accuse.
That's right.
The vile in heart, who want to cover up their guilt with holy smoke of piety, are ever loathing drunkard, thief, and courtesans. This loathing and this scorn is mockery. For if the tinsel coat of reputation could be torn away, the loud professor would be found to revel in his lust, deceit, and many forms of secret sin. The man who spends his time in pulling other people's weeds can have no time to pull his own. And all the choicest flowers of life will soon be choked and die, and nothing will remain but dormant thistles and burrs. See, I've known myself to be one who chase after folly. Even in the path of wisdom, I toiled after folly. I knew myself to be that. So this chapter, it was such a comfort to me, because I thought I had to achieve a certain level of holiness before I can become a member of the Moorish Science Temple of America. But the prophet's like, no. Your soul is just as important as the priest.
Correct.
That's right.
That was liberating for me. And it also taught me that I didn't have to put on any fake airs
Right.
about where I was in my ascension.
That's right.
Right? And there's another verse that some Moors put so much energy in appearing to be so. It's really more energy than it would take to actually be it.
Yep.
Let's not be so hard on each other, Moors.
Yes, sir. That's right.
You know, let's show grace. But this is also a measuring stick, a yardstick to measure Moors' words, right? Moors think they can convince you by how loud they talk. It said the loud professor, he mentions him. Shallow men judge Mary by the noise.
That's right.
Despite all these titles, very title-centric.
That's right.
Right.
Circle 7 said the attainment of virtue is the highest learning.
Highest learning.
Not all those other things.
Right.
Character, right.
So when you have these principles, you can measure when the Moor be talking, you can measure
Yes, sir.
whether or not it has any substance at all. But he also said that the virtues are more than the hairs on your head.
Woo.
And he also tells us to seek not after impossibilities. Some of them you're not going to attain
That's right.
in this manifestation.
That's right.
That's okay.
Be at peace with that.
That's right.
That's why we come together.
Praise the Lord.
Your brother, he hold that down.
Yep.
He hold that virtue down.
Yep.
So he gives me a model to strive for.
Yeah.
She gives me a model to strive for that particular virtue.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Right? She's so far along in that virtue, I'm chugging along.
Yes, sir.
Right? But other Psalms I've solved harder than she has.
Right.
Right? And that's how our community works.
Yes, sir.
Trust me, it's hard out here
Yes, it is.
as an individual.
Yes, sir.
I tried it through these highways and byways, holding a lot and profit. So, really gestating the community more, and our Lee's men will continue to be a think tank for the Moorish Science Temple of America.
Praise the Lord.
We would continue to come through with like old Goon with that sling blade.
That's right.
Opening up those paths.
That's right.
For Moors who are ready to enter those particular paths.
That's right. That's right.
That's our job.
Yes, sir.
Temple 19 has always been on the unity piece. We didn't join the Moorish Science Temple of America to inherit no beef.
Right.
We navigated the streets to get away from that. We didn't come into the house of Allah to inherit beefs,
That's right.
to take on ancient hatreds
That's right.
between succession lines from the prophet. We were flabbergasted when we got to Devon in the history and saw that was the case.
Right.
It was very disheartening because that's not why we joined the movement.
That's right.
It was these teachings because we wanted to evolve within ourselves and we wanted to be of service to our community.
Yes, sir.
And we saw within the prophet's teachings a beautiful methodology of doing both.
Yes, sir.
And it's ours. At one time, I was very influenced by the Rastafarian movement. But the underlying thing was Jamaicans will let you know this is our thing.
Yep.
Right? The prophet's like, if you have race pride, you join the Moorish Science
That's Temple of America. That's right.
One who was born from our loins and wombs.
Right.
This is ours. He gave us our thing, our own symbols,
right.
our own language, cultural particulars
That's right.
that akins us to people from all over the world. It's very functional. And being in New York has shown me that I take this in mainstream spaces and the prophet's teachings are relevant. Like Sharif said, he was 100 years ahead of it.
Yes, sir.
These conversations are just being had of separating Europeans from whiteness.
That's right.
It's just a thought, a social construct that was just thought into being.
Yep.
That's right.
That people have taken on and it governs our lives. And how we move through our society, our worldview. The prophet deconstructed that. He looked at that through a critical lens and deconstructed it so that we can see it. And those conversations are being had among social justice warriors now
That's right.
in trying to remove this yoke. Right? So Moors, please appreciate what you have. Appreciate your grand man.
Yes, sir.
Because he's true.
Yes, sir.
Aside from signing that treaty of peace and friendship between the Maroon Society and the Nahesi clan of Moors, we haven't taken any oaths among ourselves. The prophet said, if you are honest,
Oaths are unnecessary.
That's right.
We're not bound by anything but that. And the Moor have always given me the freedom to do what Allah has entrusted upon me to do, which was an issue for me under other sheikhs, honestly. But I come from very no-nonsense people, very practical people, no nonsense, right? And when you have matters of family, It's not a game.
That's right.
Right.
Your family is not something to be played with.
Come on, bro.
With petty politics,
Yeah. That's right.
petty intrigue,
Right.
putting energy in so many things that don't matter.
Yes, sir.
Don't
Right.
mean anything. It's time to be about the work at hand.
Yes,
And
sir.
that's the prophet's work. Uplifting, following humanity. Teaching those things necessary to make our people better citizens. The young men's business league. Sisters Auxiliary. Right? All those were institutions that the prophet established for particular work to the community. Right? And some things, unless we can study the time period to conceptualize what the prophet was saying, we're going to inevitably draw wrong conclusions about why he said it or even what he was saying.
Right.
Right? And we're going to deal with that in more detail tomorrow. I don't want to belabor the time. But again, Noble Drew Ali is a prophet of Allah.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Compare what he brought to the prophets of old. A law, right? A God concept, etc. All of those tenets of prophethood he fulfilled.
Yes, sir.
People get lost because it happened in contemporary times. This can't be real because it's contemporary. It has to be way back then, right? But conceptualize this: we're living in one of the greatest, most prosperous, strongest nations that ever has been on the planet.
That's right.
Right? And not only did our labor build it, but we know in 5 of the 13 original states, Asiatics voted to adopt the Constitution itself.
Facts. That's right.
So yeah, it's yours. It's yours. And it was only their cunning that they consolidated multiple European pale-skinned nations of Europe into this white thing. And they were able to manipulate the government for their benefit.
That's right.
Right? But we have to be very strategic so that we can compete for what we need for ourselves and our youth and our communities. And with that, gratitude again, honor and a pleasure to be among family. Islam.
Islam.
الله أكبر حي على الصلاة الله أكبر